Hello, I wanted to do a video for my digital classes, specifically Marketing 331, Digital Marketing Fundamentals, and Marketing 355, Entrepreneurship and Social Media Marketing. They're both undergraduate classes. Marketing 510 is a graduate class, has some similarities, but I wanted to focus on the undergraduate classes. I felt a video could get the messaging across a little bit better because there is a lot of moving parts in these classes. If you refer to document C.1c, Marketing 331, Digital Marketing Fundamentals, this is a document I have up here. I just wanted to show a little bit of how the class works. So again, student always at the center of learning. I do quite a bit of formative assessment in this class. Low stake formative assessment too, just because the students are engaging in a lot of different types of tools, sometimes they've never heard of or even seen. I do follow Bloom Scholarship quite closely in both of these classes, just because I feel that it does a really good job as far as addressing application and creativity. So I usually start off with, kind of foundational knowledge, critical thinking, tool implementation. And these three steps here are a lot of short, um, low scoring formative type of assessments. So there could be quizzes, little tiny in-class activities. It could be things like think, pair, share. It can be something like concept mapping. So I do a lot of just, quick seeing where the students are type formative assessments. And then what I usually do is I move to a larger or like a micro project, but still I consider it still a formative assessment. And basically the students start to maybe pull together several things, maybe using a tool and then applying the theory behind it to solve a problem or create strategy in digital marketing. And then after that is when I feel the students are in a good place, I will introduce summative assessments, and those are usually some type of detailed project where now they are applying all the different moving parts. This is C.1D Marketing 355 Entrepreneurial and Social Media Marketing. It is a very similar class as you can see, and when I scroll down to kind of the layout, it has the same idea. The only difference with my social media marketing class is I do have the students work with a nonprofit. And it could be a nonprofit of their choice, and they do fundraising. So they actually have an opportunity to focus on a real client, a real nonprofit client, and engage in social media activities that contribute to a good cause. And they can choose a national nonprofit, but I always try to urge them to choose nonprofits in our community. So it always turns out really, really nice. We had some exciting outcomes. This past spring it was, and we ended up raising about $650 between all the different groups. So it was really, really, just really nice, and it gave them a really good real life experience. Now, going back to different tools and things like that, in most of my digital classes, we'll use software like Canva, as you see here. We'll also use Adobe Express, and I get Adobe Express through Commonwealth. I can get, subscriptions for the students for the class, and this is a very, very powerful industry software. We're very fortunate that we get to use this, and it does all kinds of things as far as digital marketing, social media. There's AI involved, video, both long form, short form, animation. So it does a lot of really quick stuff, and it goes anywhere from digital to traditional print marketing and advertising. So this is another tool that we do dive into. We also do in my social media class, we do a lot of content management. So that means we start to use another cool tool called Trello. And basically what it does, it lets you plan out your content. So if I was doing like a content calendar board here, and maybe I'm doing something for the upcoming holidays, basically you would, with your team, it's almost like a project management board, and you get to plan out imagery, taglines, call to actions, promotions, all kinds of things like that, which is kind of neat. These are some boards from students in the past, and they're pretty detailed. They get very, very detailed. There's a lot of information that go into these boards, and we learn the ins and outs of how this functions and, the purpose behind it and how to streamline, digital and social actions. Another thing we do in this class, which is really neat, is again, I use a GPT assistant. And what I've done is to try and make things real life, and I'm going to see if I can get this to work, and then I can show you the example of a project. But I do a project, it's called Paw Pal, and what I did was I set up the GPT assistant to be Paw Pal, the company. They have subscription boxes for pets, and basically they act as the client. So students can type into it, but I know a lot of students do have a paid version of ChatGPT, and it's a couple of dollars a month. And if they do have the paid version, they get to interact via voice, which is kind of neat. If not, they will have to type to interact, which is just as good. You get the same results, except the voice makes it a little bit more personalized. So I'm going to open up. Again, it's a company. I programmed the back end to act like a company, not to give them answers, just to be there basically as the client, and they're the marketing team, and they're going to produce, what the client is looking for. They're going to create the strategy and the elements that will go with it, and that can be social media ads, it could be video, it could be landing pages, it could be any type of QR codes, maybe some type of omni strategy. But the idea is to create this real life scenario for them. So I'm just going to put in something simple to start it. Hello. And it's going to open up, and it's going to say, hi there, I'm Emily, the marketing director at Paw Pal. So it's going to give you a little bit of information. Now, again, if they have a mic, they can use voice mode. And let's see, give it a try. Hi, Emily. How are you today? I want to say hi. How are you today, Emily? Uh, Not too much. I came here today to learn a little bit more about your product so we can get our marketing team together. Well, I guess I'd want to know what you want to accomplish using our services. So as you can see, I'm having a little bit of bandwidth using all the different technology at once here, but as you can see, they can have this really cool interactive conversation as if they're working with a real client. And after they finish the conversation, it is all housed within the GPT. So they don't lose anything, and they can copy this out, download it. They can continue to chat with it to further the conversation. Maybe something comes up, but it's such a great tool to actually have them interact with the client. And what it does is when they decide on what they have to do. Say they need to create a social media ad. They can actually now come back to the client and tell them what they're thinking, tell Emily what they're thinking of doing, and she will actually provide feedback and let them know if that's something that will, help their sales or whatever they're trying to do. Another thing that I've programmed into it are problems. So, just like any company, you might have $20,000 budget for your social media or your digital marketing, and something happens, and then it's reduced down to 10,000. So they will come across these different types of scenarios from interacting with Emily, and they have to adjust. So that helps with critical thinking. That helps with working with their strategy and making it in a way that it's flexible. So I really feel like it brings a lot of really cool things for the students to experience, and they really do enjoy it. I do have a few assignments here to kind of show you how I start the process. So this would be a summative assignment as a final project. And basically what I do is I give them a workbook, and most of the formative assignments are set up the same way too. And I always put in, kind of what we're learning and assessing in the course. I give them the project directions. I usually give them maybe 2 or 3 scenarios. In this case, they had two. They could pick the eco-fresh sustainable home cleaning product. They get a scenario all about this product, what the company's objective is. Then they get the deliverables that they need to produce. In this case, it's SMART objective, KPI, or personas. I give them examples, I give them guidance, I really try to set them up to be successful. And then they have their other deliverables that they will use or create, I should say, via maybe Canva, maybe using TikTok, depending on the class, they will use these different platforms. Landing pages, they can use Canva, they can use HubSpot. There's lots of industry platforms that we look at. So, and then they have their strategy explanation. So again, for this project, we had two choices. We had the eco friendly cleaner, and then we had a happy paws, similar to the Paw Pal. And what we do is the teams, usually in this case for this project, they had to create their strategy, which you see here. It's very, very nice. So again, they're using Canva, they're using Adobe Express, and it's great to see the creativity, but it's not just about creativity because we have a lot of business students that are not artists, you could say, or graphic designers, but it's about thinking. So this team did a really beautiful job. Let me see if I can find their video and get that to play. And it corresponds really nicely with their thing. Let me show you the next one real quick too. So this was another one that they put together. Really great job. The SMART objectives, what they're going to do, their personas, and here's their video. So let's try and play them. Let's see who we have first. And they create all of this. So they use different tools. In this case, they used Canva to create this one. Some of them will use Capture on their phone. There's all different tools that we kind of learn and use. And this is the other one for the other presentation. So they do some really fun and innovative ideas as far as as far as these two classes, which are kind of neat. And again, I work in a way that they do several formative assessment, then it usually, turns into a micro assignment. or micro project. And then from there, we head into a summative assessment. Again, for these classes, I use a traditional grading scale also, and I'm going to bring this back in here. And I try to really follow the whole idea of scaffolding and building on the different things they learn. Because in a sense, we're learning both theory and how to use the tools that help that theory.